Wow, welcome. Boy, I was just backstage with our guest, and we had a little pregame warm up there, and I'm still coughing a little bit. But hey, thanks for showing up short notice. This just came about really fast, and I'll talk about it a little bit here later. But this is a great opportunity for us and everybody here. I got to get with the admin stuff at the beginning here, please. Please be respectful. Treat this like it's the Continental Hotel. You don't come here to do your business. You go out there and you do stuff out there, because this should be a place of. I'm a little excited tonight. Because I always get excited because Andrew and I were always BSing back there, but you got to be nice in the chat. Be nice to us up here in the panel. I'd appreciate it. But this is something we started up. It's called Conversations, and our first ever guest tonight is. I'm going to bring him up and I'll introduce him that way. Let's just do this. Is Andrew and Andrew Heckman, founder and CEO of Ogo Grown and Lifestyle. Welcome.
How we doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you, bro. Cheers.
I'm really excited to have you. I mean, before we get, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll kind of get started. I don't want to.
Oh shit! Well, hey, hi everybody. I'm Andrew Heckman. I am the CEO of Ogo Growth Systems Incorporated. Thank you for having me up on the stage tonight there, Jeff. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Wendy, also for having me here. I think tonight we're just going to chat a little bit about the roots of my company and how we got started in it. I think, well, I hope there's a fair few people out in the audience that have maybe checked us out a little bit online, but if not, the premise of our company is that we design and manufacture hydroponic and aeroponic grow equipment for both cannabis and every other growing use that you could have with it, and that's what we do here. So that's kind of the base of the operations, but there's a lot more to it than that. So
right, and you're a home grower and a guerrilla grower from way back, and the pun is intended there. What drove you to create Ogo Grown Lifestyles, and how'd you come up with the name?
Sure. That's a great question. Well, Ogo, obviously it's a little bit of a abbreviation. So Ogo stands for Ontario Guerrilla Growers Organization. Now you might have a little good laugh at me here, but back in the day when I first started growing, I was in fact a guerrilla grower. I kind of had my plants out in plain sight, but also kind of hidden inconspicuously enough that they weren't going to draw attention or heat, or theft for that matter. That was constantly a thing back in the day before anybody got it legalized or anything like that. You know how it is. The game was pretty vile. So I was a guerrilla grower, and I started my own organization. Now the funny thing is about having a hidden organization is that it's tough to get members into it, but nevertheless it was something that I started and I was passionate about. I got bit by the guerrilla growing bug many years ago. It was well, I guess right, if we get started right at the start, I mean, my brother smoked cannabis before me. He got me maybe sampling it one time. I I realized that I really enjoyed smoking it at kind of a young age. I then found, a bag seed like everybody else did back in the day when they got some bud, threw it in the ground, grew out a magnificent, what I didn't even know was female plant at the time. And that was all it took. I mean, one good bag seed, and the rest was history, kind of thing. I guess I think there's a lot of people out in the audience that can probably relate to that sort of bug bite. So.
Do you remember what the seed was?
Oh, no. Unfortunately, I remember it was glorious. I remember it was a rather sativa dominant strain. But nevertheless, I mean, it was back in the day. I had a buddy a couple blocks over there. I would dirt bike over to his house. If he was lucky enough to be home from work, I could get my little half ounce or ounce from him and bounce on home back up. Actually, right here to this studio. This used to be the band room, and this is where everybody in town came to get baked. This was the hot spot for back in the day for the sessions. So I love it that we're still doing that right now to this day up in this room. So
the band room.
Yeah, it was. So my brother had a musical passion. So where we're sitting right now, Jeff. This is my family estate. I guess you would say we've had a lot of generations of Walcombs and then Heckmans live here. And so that's. I mean, I've lived here since I was a child. I grew up. I moved out for about a decade to raise my son in my own house, and then when my parents decided to sell this property, my sister and I teamed up and decided we would buy this. And then, again, that was kind of one of those first steps in history. Once we bought this place, actually, we bought this place during my transition into cannabis growth professionally, which is, of course, then where I met my wife after I headed into cannabis professionally. So, I mean, it's kind of been a long, tumultuous journey with cannabis at the forefront of my passion, but yeah, this is the farm where I first grew a plant, and then of course with my brother being a bit older than me and far more skilled in carpentry, he, my sister, and I all hatched this master plan to build what we were gonna call the hangout clubhouse room. After it got built, my brother was kind of like, "Yoink, this is mine." So it's like it became his band room, and so he had his friends over. They would jam out. They would have guitars and the drums and
Wow.
everything, and so we would sometimes, me and my friends would be allowed to come up here and party with them, but typically this was like, the older ones were kind of up here partying, and we had to get the boot. So yeah, that was what happened, and it was the band room. Then when I moved out, this space actually became storage. And then it became my first licensed grow room. Then it became my trimming and storage room, and now it's a studio. So it's been a very multi-purpose, weed-centered room that we are sitting in here. So
And you, you talk a lot about your family and stuff. So it's like the community. I mean, we're all family, and I
yeah.
mean, you sound like a community kind of man. And the way you were talking there, it sounds like that maybe is that where maybe the inklings of um, your your company kind of maybe took root, or
Well, there was, yeah, I'm glad you asked that as well. I mean, let's get right into that. So I'm a third generation carpenter. My grandfather and my father and my uncle, all my cousins, everybody, they have all been carpenters for like as long as we can remember. So I was actually like the first man in my family to like stop doing carpentry as a profession and think about going to do something else. And I'm like talking all the men on both sides of my family all became carpenters. So I was the first one to kind of be like, guys, I think I want to hang this up and pursue what I really, really love, which is growing cannabis. I mean, if we can rewind even further than that, but so basically back in 2011, I've told this story before, but I'll tell it on your channel here as well. Growing old. Back in 2011, I'd already been growing for a couple of years, and by that time, I watched a documentary. It was called The Green Rush, and it was based on three grow groups out of California. where it was licensed, of course, at the time, but there was still the DEA stipulations and all of that stuff, like the federal level still being, looking in on it and doing what they wanted to do in California. So basically, it showed these guys who were converting from, they had been guerrilla growers all along, they got licenses and they were doing it right in California, but it showed that how tumultuous the whole thing really was in California still. Like it was still people robbing people's farms and the police show up and seize everything. It's always been like I was watching this documentary and I was like, oh damn, like it was almost like a precursor to like what happened in Canada. But nevertheless, in that documentary, there was a guy, Mr. Blue. If you watch that documentary, it was Mr. Blue. He is the one that has an easy cloner set up in his grow, and he said, okay, so this is how I clone my plants, and there's a very quick introduction to it, but he just walks over with a scalpel, takes it, he cuts it, dips it in the cloning powder, and he sticks it in his cloner, and then he says, okay, and in 2 weeks, this is what you get. And he pulls out another clone, and it's fucking glorious, and it's got the fishbone dangling. And I mean, me being a grower who was already kind of like always a guy who loved to build his own grow equipment. First thing was, I was like, wait a second, what the fuck is that? Right? I was like, what did he just do there? What kind of magic trick is this? Right? And I was just full of bewilderment. That was how it started. And then I started to dig deep. Now, me being let's see, 2011, I was 21 and my son had just been born. I literally had not a pot to piss in. I was broke. I was trying to make ends meet. I just bought my house. There was a lot going on. And I remember looking, trying to figure out where do I get a cloner? How do I get a cloner? Where are they from? Who makes them? Kind of all that stuff. And I got digging right into it. I got looking around. And basically, for me, living in Canada, my closest option was, I believe, a company called Hydrotech out of Quebec. It was extremely expensive for them to ship that product from their warehouse to me in Ontario. Always has been expensive for shipping in Canada, unfortunately. But nevertheless, yeah, so I saw this, and I just kind of went on a deep dive and I said, okay, so if somebody else has built this, how does one like me, um, get in on this? How can I build something like this? I got tools, I got know-how. And, I get checking it out and sure enough, I'm like, okay, there's some tactics here. We can figure out how to do this. Now, everybody online does that and they try it. And, yeah, I mean, hey, it didn't work. So, the first one, I just was like, wow, okay, we got some things to figure out. Now, that being said, I was always kind of like, even if it doesn't work, I'm gonna work at it until it does. So, that was kind of the essence of the beginning of my ethos at Ogo. I never spray painted the label Ogo on anything until about 2016 there, and then I started to kind of formulate the plan of like, oh, this is my company. Maybe there was another way I could have taken it, but nevertheless, I wanted to learn how to build my own stuff and just get started down the road of like what it means to actually be a guy who can create his own products. So, it took a little while for sure. Of course, I was a carpenter, raising a family, trying to, get all the ends met at the same time. So life has a funny way of kind of like winding you about in a roundabout way. I was just a carpenter at the time, and then by 2019, I got one of my buddies. I stopped in at his house after work one day and I was smoking weed with him. And he was like, hey, man, I just started a job at a cannabis growing facility. And I was like, cool, that sounds like a good time. And he's like, it really is. I think that you should quit doing carpentry and fucking come and try this with me. And let's go. I mean, I think there will be a future for you in this industry. And I was hesitant, but I mean, hey, it had always kind of been like this thing where I was like, yeah, if I ever had the opportunity to do it, I got to find a way to do it. And so I was in the middle of a fairly large project at the time that my buddy suggested this to me. So I talked to the homeowner. I said, here we go. I'm going to make sure that this job is finished off in absolute high style. I will not leave anything undone or anything hanging for you here. But after this job, I am making a career switch, and that's going to be it. And the homeowner, to my surprise, was actually, he became a very good long-term mentor and friend of mine. And he was just like, dude, you gotta fucking do what you're passionate about, man.
Right.
Chase it down. Don't live a life. Don't get to the end of your life and regret not having tried to do what you wanted to do in this
Right.
life. And I was just like, all right, man, let's go. So, you know, it always takes a little bit of balls to just say I'm shutting this down and I'm starting this back up. But I went and I became a grower at the LP there in the big city of Kitchener. That was a rough and tumble journey in the realm of professional cannabis growth. That had nothing to do with, of course, what we aim to do here at Ogo, except for the fact that I got to see different concepts in action. Right. So that was kind of the spot where I got to see some of my, I don't know if you'd want to call it schooling, but it was certainly, I got an education on some of the things that work and some of the things that simply will not work. And there you go. So that's what happened. By 2021, I was out of that facility. So I was there for about 2 years. I left with my then girlfriend. She left a couple days before I did, and then I was quick to follow suit. And so yeah, that was kind of a little chunk of our history there. That same day that I was let go from that facility, again, I just called another, I called another friend of mine who owned his own facility. And I said, hey, I heard you guys need help getting your stuff going. I worked for them for about a year and 2 months. But the business dealings on that side were just, it's tough to work for your friends.
Right.
And it's tough to get a good contract out of your friends. One that, it was tough. It was weird negotiations. And I just basically said, look, guys, I think we're all good with each other, but I don't think we need to keep doing this
Right.
professionally. And so we cut ways there, and that was cut ties there, and that was fine. And then the third and final spot that I worked at an LP, I actually got hired on to commission the rooms out. I was talking with the owner about my skills as both a renovator and a grower. I told him I had a lot of knowledge as to how to assemble grow rooms and then run them. And he looked at me and he was just like, "Oh, you know how to assemble grow rooms. We've got work for you." And so basically, that was what it was. After I was done those contracts, we talked about me growing for them, but they basically just, they wanted to give me just a leaf plucking job, which, again, not saying anything bad about those growers, but my skill level was maybe a little bit above what they wanted to put me in at. And I said, that's fine again. And so after that, I was a little bit disgruntled with the cannabis industry at large. I didn't want to go back to growing professionally, I guess you would say. I was having more fun in my own rooms, doing my own thing in my grow rooms, and not necessarily having to abide by Health Canada's bullshit, or trying to do what a person who had zero passion for the plant was trying to tell me to do. You know what? Like, there was a lot of bosses that would be like, chop this plant down, and you'd be like, what? Like, we need
Right.
fucking needs 2 more weeks, and they'd be like, don't matter, she's going in the bag today. So unfortunately, that happened more than once with certain employers. And that was the part that kind of got me down about that side of things. Sorry, just give me a second.
Oh, no,
Little sippy, because we got a little stoned before the show.
that's
But
no kidding.
So anyways, where was it? Yeah, so I was a little bit disgruntled with the cannabis industry. It was not everything that it had been cracked up to be. It was tough. We were having issues with it, I guess, in our household. And so basically what happened was, Allie and I got talking, and I was like, look, I love cannabis, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can own an LP. I'm not in a financial position to own an LP or a micro for myself. I still need to have a job. I really don't want to go back to carpentry or running my own company. I kind of just want to get a job, right? So it ended up that I took a job at a local manufacturing place, And I was working away in there. It was a good spot to get me out of my comfort zone of running carpentry tools. I was into like more welding, fabricating, just a different set of power tools, really. And it kind of just got me in the mood to build stuff again. And it kind of got me out of my own, my old little comfort zone of building things, say by wood, building structures with wood, or trim, drywall, all the stuff that comes with residential carpentry and stuff like that. So as I'm working away at this manufacturing facility, I befriended my now business co-owner, Gorilla Pete. He's in the audience here. Big shout out to you, sir. But basically what happened was, me being me and being the passionate guy that I am, one day everybody after work was having a few wobbly pops out at the back picnic table, and we all got talking about cannabis, and the guys were, I don't know, somebody was smoking a joint at the job site or whatever, and I kind of just lit up, and I was like, fuck yeah, I love growing, da 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 da, and all these guys were like, oh, you're kind of geeky about this shit, eh? And I was like, I fucking love it. I don't know, it's whatever. I am me. And so Pete, kind of the next day or something like that, Pete was like, hey, you got anything growing now? And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, you should come see Gorilla Ponics. And that was, we can get into Gorilla Ponics in a minute, but basically I had designed Gorilla Ponics in 2021. And then I used it, reiterated it, redesigned it completely for the next 3 years, playing around with it. And then by the time Pete got out there, I want to say that was 2023, the 2023 season, I think. And it was a stellar season. I can tell you what, growing old, there was a couple plants that just defied my logic and rationale of reality. And I was just like, this is fucking cool. So he came out, he saw the plants, he smelt the bud, he saw the system running, and he was just like, this is fucking neat, man. This is really, really, really neat. Now, you've seen Gorilla Ponics because it was the first time that you and I met, right? Growing old?
Right.
I think I came up and I was just
Little
showing you
nice.
guys. Now, admittedly, this year, because of my focus being so many other places, I know that my plants suffered. It is what it is. I mean, the beautiful thing about an outdoor season is that you can always go again next year. And I mean, you always have something to learn about from the mistakes. So one of the things I realized was, hey, don't get so distracted by everything else. Or if you're going to be distracted by other stuff, slow your roll on your grows so that they don't suffer, right? And not even suffering. It was just like, the water would maybe float out of pH zoning for, an extra day, or there'd be a lockout, or, a plant would get just freaking crucified by the wind. I mean, like, just, there was things that we should have been doing or prepping for an outdoor grow that I just, simply because I was in the middle of running everything else, I just, I couldn't do it to 100% the way I wanted it to. But, this year coming up, I'm definitely going to be, we'll revamp that plan and reschedule ourselves just a little bit better.
And I'm on the same. I'm doing the same because, just like you say, this, at least for this the holiday seasons, I've been so cramped and busy. Something let loose, and now I'm trying to slow down. Just like what you're saying.
Yeah.
I want to jump back and into some stuff because you're talking about being a carpenter. I can tell you, my father, he could make anything out of wood, and I can't cut a straight line to save my life. You brought up cloning, and I'm sure we'll get into more of your mothership and cloning stuff a little bit. But I love cloning, and you talked about that easy cloner. I've had one of those. I love those.
Yep.
You talked about failure, but there's no success without failure.
Yep.
And I had a question, but you kind of answered it.
Sure.
It was when you talked about you worked in the industry and stuff. And my question was, and then you talked about working in other jobs outside of carpentry and stuff. And I just put down that those other jobs, that's a diversity of skills. But my question was going to be, being on the inside like that, do you think that gives you an advantage of where you're at now? being on the
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that you do before you get to where you're at is an advantage if you see it as such. I mean, the silver lining about any failure or anybody else's failure is that it's actually like literally a whiteboard full of information for you to take in if you stop and think about it for just 1 second. So, I mean, I failed a lot myself personally as I built out whatever I tried to build out. And then also, I watched other people fail in aspects of things that I had already mastered. Um, and I would try to tell them, much to their own dismay. I would, again, I can be a big, burly, kind of abrasive sounding guy, but when I tell people stuff, I try to tell them as kindly and politely as I can. But at the end of the day, I mean, I used to work I worked in an aeroponic facility where they didn't use aeroponic cloning, bro. Riddle me that. And all I said, like, I came into the I came into the nursery one day in that building, and I was just like a newbie, and I saw the way that they were cloning, and I was just like, what the hell is this? And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, why don't you guys clone the same way that you grow? And it was because I hate to say it, but I learned a lot about foolish pride at that building. I learned so much about dying on a sword. Like it was just like I would say to people, like, there is just a slightly easier, healthier method than what you're doing, and I mean, honestly, they would look at me like I had four eyes and 13 ears, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "You can clone the same way that you finish the rest of the plant, and then you skip a step of like losing a bunch of clones." Or having them dampen off, or whatever. Like it was just like the numbers weren't adding up. Like the math was not mathing, and these guys just would they were just like we don't care.
but
So
that's not how we do it. We've never
yeah,
done it that
that's
way.
they
We
were like
can't
we have our own method, and I was like, the thing about methods is that if you choose one but it doesn't actually work, you should definitely like just at least pause and just
right,
reassess.
right, because
So that was it. That was like sometimes I'd watch these people going through a day-to-day work week or something, and I'd see them and I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing here? So there was a
right,
lot of times where common sense just did not win the day. But I mean, that's like those are especially valuable moments for you where every time you grind your teeth, make a little mental note of what it was that was making you grind your teeth, and then make sure that if you ever own the company, fucking
right,
avoid that like the plague. Like it's
right.
just, whatever they did, do the exact opposite of that. So that was kind of, I mean, for sure, all of those other industries were definitely an advantage to me. I mean, we could break down each industry one by one. Carpentry taught me how to work with other people and work at like a really fast pace and to get things done daily, because if you have either a business or customers waiting on you, time is always of the essence. So even if you have to pull in a big shift or do something off hours, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I was blessed with my father being a business owner, from like a carpentry business owner, from the day that I was born. So I watched a man just constantly handling his business. He'd leave at 4 a.m. and he'd get home at 8 p.m. and nobody said shit because there was food on the table and the work was getting done. So,
Right.
and I learned his work ethic. My brother has the most tenacious work ethic I've ever seen. Same with all my cousins and my other uncle Rob. Shout out to him. He was the one that taught me a lot of the carpentry that I know to this day. So that was carpentry, and of course, finish work, detail work. Those are all things that you have to have the ability to do. Also, in terms of renovating, being able to see the finished end product before it's even been assembled with parts that you still have to then cut and design or shape or mold or whatever it is. That's part of the work ethic right there. What else? So the next thing after that was going into cannabis and learning to grow at scale. Again, these are the types of things where if you see a one-off product in your own house and you built it yourself, that's all good. But did you calculate the amount of labor that it took to do that? What does it look like if you build that at a scaled up space? What's some of the troubleshooting issues that might arise if somebody's
Right.
running the product that has no idea how to use it? Watching rookies in a grow room just annihilating plants in the system, that also helped me understand how people may use the system. And then, of course, fabrication. That one was actually probably the biggest sealer of the deal. You know what I mean? Um, that one was where I met my friend Pete, who of course had an entire different skill set with tools and the manufacturing of material in a way that people pay you money for. So and that's he was such a professional about his work, and then he and I kind of looked at each other, and he was like, "Hey, man." You have a massive amount of skill in carpentry. I have a massive amount of skill in fabricating. You're an excellent designer and you have a deep understanding of how your own products work. What if we find a way to get ourselves an MVP, a most viable product, and hit the market running and see what we got from there. So before we did our MVP release, what we actually did was we wrote down an entire list of products and accessories that we either already had in stock in my mind, or that we would be able to like design and build in the future. So that was kind of the formation of the actual Ogo business. That was just over a year ago now. We did a lot of creative writing as a team. There are 5 of us that own the company together. So yeah, when we kind of got everything culminated into one spot, and then we started to write, and we decided who the owners were and what it looked like to get that rolling. That was when we were like, okay, so what's our website look like? What's our products look like? How are we going to bring this to the world? I had already been with all of these products for such a long time. The problem then for me became, how do I make this digestible for a completely new to hydroponics grower? So
Right.
that was the biggest conundrum for us. And if I may shed a little bit of light on why I thought about it like that, Jeff, it was, so back in 2011, I watched a clone come out of a cloner, right?
Right.
And then my from there I learned how to clone, and I learned, in the next time that I got a huge lesson, the next thing that I saw was that clone coming out of a full-size bucket and being harvested without ever having touched soil. And I was like, hold on again, what is this sorcery? I've never heard of such things. Wait, you can take it from here all the way to here without ever touching any
Right.
other medium. And that was another, again, a big epiphany for me. Sure, everybody could have a little laugh or whatever, but it's like everybody has their own moments of like, aha. And so, I had my own little aha moment. And then what I did on top of that, like immediately in the moment that I understood that you could finish a cannabis plant without having it ever touch soil, I then began to just formulate in my own mind. I was like, wait, how the fuck would I do this outdoors? That was my first thought, was like literally once I saw it all fit together inside, my next thing was like, oh, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it with sunlight. And everybody that I worked with was like, you're fucking crazy. Fuck you. You'll never make that happen. And I just, smoked a joint and said, fucking watch me. And then 2020 was the first, yeah, that was Gorilla Ponics year 1. And you can see a bit of that, that footage in the music video that Jax had just posted there for us. Gorilla Ponics year 1 was just massively, massively entertaining for me to watch and take part in. But then that was like the first year of almost like I was in a daze. I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, is this actually working all the way I predicted it would, the way I thought it would? And it did. And then one of the plants got hit by a storm. Both plants got hit by a storm pretty
I,
bad.
I,
And it was
I remember
before I
that.
had any trellising up or anything like that. So what I didn't realize had happened was in my 2 barrels that I was running, one of the barrels had got knocked over, but underneath the layer of stone was where the stalk had actually snapped. and I didn't realize that it had fully snapped. And I propped it back up, and I was thinking everything was fine. And basically, I just watched it slowly pass away over the next couple weeks. And I was just like, all right,
I
clear it out.
remember
That's
that.
fine. Shit happens.
Yeah.
It was a massive plant. It was a massive loss, but nevertheless, I mean, hey, that's one of those things. Get your ass out there before the storm. Um, so that was year 2020. From there, that was a very rough beta tested kind of invention. And then from there, I took it back into the shop and I kind of actually revamped the whole way that it works. Not necessarily the methodology, but the overall design. Like I really cleaned it up and simplified it. I also added a couple little key components that allow it to be a little more user friendly and also troubleshoot. So that was kind of some things that I worked on with it. And then on top of that, I kind of just started to perfect like methodology and like proper use and care for the system. So, but that was, I mean, this is the problem here, Jeff. I did that all like I walked into a room, I saw what happened, and I was like, I'm taking everything that I see here and I'm going to make it happen outdoors. Now, if you were to launch a company where the first thing that you do is release a 55-gallon drum that nobody's ever seen or grown out of or anything, everybody's going to just look at you and be like, why the fuck do I even care? I can't get there
Right.
from here. Kick rocks, bud. And so it was kind of tough for me because I was like, I want to show you guys everything that I just fucking learned.
Right.
I wanted to be like, fucking check it out, guys. This is the coolest thing ever. But at the same time, if it's so far away from what people are used to seeing, they're not going to want to even deal with it. And so we basically, as a team, after much nights of writing, we kind of sat down and we watered it down to basically like, how can you get somebody from growing just straight in soil for their entire life? How can we actually get them to look at a product and say, that's pretty actually simple enough to use, and I like the design, and it doesn't look like it's gonna break. People want to look at the product and say, is this gonna just be another snake oil? Is this, what is this charlatan trying? And really, like, we sat and we thought, like, we want to make sure that if you come over to hydroponics or aeroponics, that you don't get bit in the ass so bad that you run away from it and never want to try it again. Because like I think too many people in the past had that happen, and like everybody's like, oh, I want to try hydroponics, but it looks hard. And so one thing
Right.
that we wanted to really do at Ogo was be like, listen, there's a learning curve for it, but not unlike growing cannabis in soil, it's just a matter of following a certain set of a recipe or something like that. And if you have somebody that can guide you through it and not necessarily hold your hand, but at least give you the info to like think about what you're doing, and if you love it, you love it. At least you've given it an honest shake, and it wasn't that the fucking system you were running was so in the dark or you were so far removed from how the system works that you didn't love it, right? So that was our whole premise of it. I mean, I was just a guy who loved hydroponics and aeroponics from the second that I got a hold of it, and I thought, well, shit, there must be other people out there in the world just like me. And I mean, sure enough, there are. They're here, and some of them love it, and that's great. I mean, hydroponics is a lot of fun. It's just like growing in soil. It's just one thing that I've talked about with some of our new members over at the Ogo Army is that one thing that people tend to view when they're doing hydroponics or aeroponics is that everything that you come up against is a problem. And one thing that I try to teach people is that the problem eventually becomes the procedure. Whereas if you think that the pH is a problem, or like, when you're interacting with your system or your plants, you're like, oh, the water temperature's off. Well, that looks like a problem at the start. But if you realize what you have to do as the grower to cool down the water, perhaps, or if you need to switch up your environment, that's part of the procedure, right? That's not everybody being against you. You just have to learn how to do what you're doing, right? Like anybody who grew a
Right.
seed in soil looked at that soil one time and thought, "Oh, I got to water this again." Right? But like that's the thing is like, yeah, you do have to do maintenance, and hydroponics and aeroponics they're not a free for all. Like, you don't just get to set it and walk away. But also, I mean, there are benefits and advantages to doing it in hydroponic and aeroponic form. So, it's a toss up between what you want to do, what your uses are, what your end goal is. Are you doing it at scale?
It's
Yeah.
it's always fun. I wrote something down here. Did you? Let's go with this one. I got another question written.
Sure.
What drives Ogo Andrew? Not so much Andrew Heckman, but Ogo Andrew.
That's a great question.
Because my thoughts are, I'm kind of the same person. I'm Jeff, and people call me grown old, but I'm still Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there's some things there that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
What drives Ogo Andrew?
Me, like, I guess you're asking me as the CEO, or is that kind of? Yeah, me as the CEO. Well, I mean, first of all, I really believe in my products. I believe in the simplicity of the use of them. I mean, in terms of hydroponic systems, what we're trying to do is make sure that hydroponics and aeroponics is not a gate kept industry or part of an industry. We want to make sure that it's available to anybody who decides that they want to use it. A big part of my ethos is that I stand behind my products. I'm happy that I've designed and manufactured them. I'm a big proprietor of doing the work yourself. I really like getting my hands dirty in my own companies and making sure that what I'm doing is actually meaningful to me and my family. I mean, those are like my core ethos. I mean, I can't beat around the bush. There's a financial incentive to being your own boss and running your own company. But I mean, aside from all of that, I mean, I really noticed that back in the day when I was building these products just for myself, I was like, I really enjoy this. This is fucking fun. I don't like, aside from everything else that I was doing, I had such a fun time doing my growing in my way, just slightly different than maybe the conventional norm. I guess you would say it's different. It's not bad. It's not better. It's just like, it's different. It's a different medium for people to experiment with and play with. I mean, that's being able to say that I am a reason why somebody maybe actually gave hydroponics or aeroponics a fair shake. That's a big driver for me. I want to see everybody growing in whatever way they feel they want to, but also I try and make it at least look fun and look like what it is. It is fun. I'm not trying to make it look fun. I'm genuinely fucking enjoying my life. So, that's a bit. I guess another part of it is that I do in fact want to enjoy my life. So, there you go.
Great.
Yeah,
no, that's great. Yeah. I got another one. I was going to save it for just before media asset time.
Oh, baby.
But
let's hear it.
But let's ask it anyways, because
Sure.
you mentioned it, and I'm going to mention it, and it's a good time for a media asset because I'm going to talk partners, right?
Yeah.
And I know you got 4 others.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm only going to talk about one.
Okay.
And I don't want to say anything bad about 3 of your other partners, but
not at all. I get where you're coming from. I think
because like right now, and I want to say it now before media asset because I'm going to put something up special for you, Andrew.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
But I might forget.
It's okay.
By the end. And I just want to make sure that I thank Wendy for helping me out with this and helping us all out with this because she's been my partner we've been married almost 40 years.
Damn.
So, and
congratulations.
We've been doing the growing and this YouTube thing, and it's just brought us closer together. But that's enough about me. I just wanted to give you that opportunity, and then we're going to have to take a break because I won't be able to. I'm sorry.
No worries. I'm glad, dude. I love it, man. I'm here for it.
Oh no, go.
What's your question?
Oh no. Oh, my question was, I'd be remiss if I didn't allow you to bring up your partner. Like, I'm
My
thinking
partner.
of Alexandra. That's who I'm.
Oh,
That's who
my.
I apologize. I was trying to work it around in there,
That's okay. That's okay. I got you, bro.
but because, and I only want to mention that I want to say thank you to her
Yes.
while we're doing it because Wendy was pushing me, and I'm like, man, I got to get ready because you make me nervous, man. Because I want to be so good because I'm so excited that you're here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll save all this for last, but I wanted to thank her because, well, they got together and decided this is when it's going to be and how it's going to be. And so I want to say thank you to her.
Yes, me as well. Thank you, honey. And thank you, Wendy.
But do you want to do a media asset?
Yeah, let's do a media asset. And I can talk a bit about. You want me to talk about how Ali and I actually met, or how it goes running a business together?
That would be an excellent story because I know earlier you mentioned somebody had quit somewheres before, and then you quit. And am I in the right ballpark? Or I'm going to go up with a media asset, and I'm going to allow you to tell.
Sure. Here, you throw up the media asset. I'm going to toke right off the bat with you. And then I'm going to, I'll just stay in behind the media asset there and we will, I'll tell it. Oh, yes. Look at this fucking beautiful thing. Guys, I can't believe it. He whipped out a goddamn media asset for little old me. Come on.
And what I wanted was, if you've ever jumped out of a 130 or a 117, you're standing there and you got the lights and they say you got the red light and then it goes green. You're just like,
yep,
smoking light is lit. You're out.
Let's love it. Oh man, I'm lighting this one up for you, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me on the chat tonight, man. This is fantastic.
Oh, no, thank you. No, I was excited. I might as well. Oh no, you were going to tell the story.
Oh, I got stories, bro. I got stories. All right. Well, listen. So, Ali and I were working at like I said, we worked at that cannabis company together. Pardon me, a little tickle in the throat there. Okay. So basically, what happened here? We were in the middle of a corporate restructuring. Believe it or not, people's companies went ass up in the beginning of cannabis. So we were working away for a company, and they thought they were to do well. They ended up claiming some bankruptcy and got bought out by a larger multinational conglomerate company, whatever it was. Basically, they cut 85% of the staff day one. They just cleaned house. In the 15% that was left, in the 15% that was left, we just had to pick up the slack basically everywhere. And Ali, of course, I did not know Ali at the time, but Ali was up in, I believe the finance department was her official title. But somehow she ended up being in charge of shipping and receiving as some sort of, because she knew the understanding of the financial inputs to the shipping and receiving. Somehow that made sense that she was going to be going to the back and doing shipping and receiving. So basically what happened was, at that same time, me and my crew were also killing it in our grow room. We always had lots of time left over to go help the other crews around the facility. And one thing that we were actually expected to do during that time was, if we had extra moments in our day, was we were supposed to coordinate with other team leads or other groups within the facility. So there was, there was trimming, there was QA, there was the cleanup crew. There was always rooms to be flipped and turned over. There was always a harvest to do somewhere, and of course shipping and receiving. So one of the things that shipping and receiving was having a problem with was the fact that there was nobody working in it. And so she had to go back there one day, and basically the entire warehouse was full of grow equipment that she had absolutely no idea how to deal with. And with that, I mean, my group, by happenstance, we were done, and we got told to go help Alexandra in the back warehouse that day. So I took my crew of guys, EPOD, which is backwards for dope. So yeah, we were EPOD. We loved it, and we went on back there to the warehouse. Hey, buddy boy, how are you? We're back. We're back. That was fucking awesome. Thank you for the media asset. So, anyways, yeah, my team and I ended up in the back warehouse, and of course, here was this nice young woman who was just completely flustered, not doing her own job, which of course was in finance. She was in the back unwrapping these pallets of grow equipment, which she had no idea what it was about. She didn't know if it was, she'd look at a box and say, great, another box of equipment, right? So, and me and my team, we got back in there, and I just started fucking geeking out. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, another floor fan, another fucking, there'd be accessories everywhere. And I was just so fucking happy. And so I'm putting this stuff all together and geeking out and bringing back a good attitude. And over the next few weeks, we ended up chit-chatting, and we got to know each other. And actually, it was she was the one who asked me out, and it turns out that she lived a fair distance away from me at that time. But she had a friend that lived kind of between her and I, and she said, well, what if you came and met me at my friend's house for some dinner? And so that was our first date there, and I got to meet her friends, one of which was standing in our wedding as well. So it was a complete full circle sort of thing. But nevertheless, yeah, she asked me out. She actually, because of the nature of that job, I won't get into too much about it, but basically her health and her mental health really took a shit kicking at that facility. Yeah, it was a tough time for her. So she ended up leaving on medical leave, and a few days later, I was actually just let go without any warning or heads up or reason. So we had our suspicions as to maybe why I was let go as well, but you never know. I didn't ask too many questions about it, and I just walked on out of there. So yeah, her and I left together basically, and we've stuck together ever since. And I gotta say, it's it's a good time. So here we are.
Wow.
Thinks you're muted.
No, I'm not muted now.
Okay.
There you go.
I
There
was
you go.
muted.
Yes. So I mean, that was how we met, and then from there, we just kept letting our relationship grow. So
I don't know. That's kind of like me and Wendy, because we worked together before, and at the time she was my boss, and she used to drive me and drop me off on jobs, and she's still my boss. So so it's been 40 years, but I want to ask you something else.
sure.
And then we'll spend time just kind of hobnobbing.
Sure, buddy. Yeah, let's do it.
I heard in one of your other lives you were talking about you're looking at you're coming out with something new,
Yeah.
sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Can you talk about that? Can you talk about R&D? Do you have any kind of a date or?
Well, decidedly we have definitely rolled out some new. Well, we've developed and built some of our new products. They will be coming out We're kind of looking at dividing the year into thirds for that.
Right.
So it'll just be new products come spring, spring into summer, and then summer into fall, and then fall into winter, basically. Kind of right at those three spots is when we're talking about just releasing each item in our lineup there. And I mean, again, it's not that they're not all ready. It's just that honestly, with a small company and
Right,
us
right, right, right,
manufacturing
right,
our own stuff in house, not outsourcing it to China like literally every other
right.
company that runs this sort of stuff. We build everything right in house and ship it right from our own manufacturing facility. So we do it all here, and definitely it's all ready to go. But because we want to make sure that we are focused on each and every product being built properly and getting out the door properly. Of course, we've got a lot of content to create. Obviously, we have a hobby farm here that we live at that we still have to run, maintain, upkeep, and of course, on top of all that, our own personal lives. Raising families. Wanting a bit of time off to not constantly think about the business, all of that stuff. We're just like anybody else. Obviously, every once in a while, you do want to hang it up and have some personal time. It's a little harder to do if you're self-employed and you're going against the grain and everything that everybody knows about cloning. So it's a lot of work, but hey, we're here for the long haul anyway. So I love it.
See, that brought up another thing popped into my head
Yeah.
as to the media asset. Now, you and I talked about it back there, and I don't know if I mentioned it out here. Now, if you go to Andrew's lives, they'll pull up these media assets, and I'm like, that is so freaking cool. And I thought, how in the heck did he think of media asset? And then I was talking to Wendy about it before this because I was like, man, we need a media asset for when he comes up. And she's like, well, here, push this button. I'm like, there's a media asset button. Yeah, that's how. Yeah, that's how
Yes,
stupid I
sir.
am. But my question, I don't know how I got off on that. But my question is, do you have any advice for like a self-employed or somebody looking to start themselves? Now I know you're in Canada and a lot of people are here in the States and everything's a little different, but I think there's still some kind of like if you're starting a business or a small business and just getting started, any advice or lessons learned kind of stuff. I mean, I got another question, but that popped out of my head there. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. No, I mean, yeah, advice for anybody trying to get into a business or start their own business or do their thing. Yeah, definitely make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Would be the first thing. Believing in your own self is a huge thing. I would say that you definitely have to like be willing to kind of put everything else aside. I mean, within reason. Like, I don't think I could do this if my family wasn't in total lockstep with me about it. I think that if I was in a position of feeling like I was guilty for spending this much time doing what I do and doing what I know I love, that would seriously impact, the inertia, I guess, because I want, when you come out with a business, certainly your own label, your own brand, you have to give it everything you've got. You gotta shoot those lives even on the days that you don't feel like doing them. You gotta have people in chat rooms that just straight up don't like you, don't want to see you succeed, and that's fine. Those people will always be around forever, so you gotta get thick skin on that. You gotta make sure that you actually have a solid team around you of people that believe in you. Like I said, you can't have half-hearted individuals that are just kind of like fair weather business owners. I mean, it's going to get good, it's going to get bad. Definitely believe in your own ingenuity and your own designs. I mean, if you're gonna come out with a product that nobody's actually ever seen or doesn't know how to use, I mean, it's tough for them to accept that it actually works. And that can be a thing for certain people that if they try to get into it, they just don't have the heart for it. Yeah, I mean, other than that too, I mean, you got to do your own work. Otherwise, you'll just find that somebody else does it for you. One
Right.
of the worst things I think that you could end up doing would be let somebody else start your business and run it, and you just watch on from the side. You know what I mean? I think that would be probably anybody's worst regret is actually watching somebody else who had the ingenuity and the fortitude to get it done, actually pull it off, and you just sit there and kind of
Right.
wonder what could have been, because I feel like there's probably a lot of that out in the world too. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, you just got to keep learning, got to keep on thinking about it, just work away at it every single day. Hopefully, you got a family and friends that believe in you and are willing to let you grow and do what you have to do in terms of like your own personal development. But it's a never ending thing. It's always uphill, and you just got to keep on trudging. So that's what it is.
Yeah, because it's always when he's passed me a note telling me the chat is going really good. But I mean, you hit on the key points there. I think the self confidence. I mean, you got to have self confidence if you're going to do something like that. I mean, you got to be a brave. You got to be brave to jump on that, and then probably even maybe more important than the self confidence is that family buy in thing. 100.
Yeah,
percent
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's like the family's got to be with you. You gotta like if they're not with you, it's really tough to have something like this going on because everybody's going to be like, hey, where are you? Why aren't you at the dinner table? Why are you working again tonight? Why are you on the phone with customers? Why are whatever? Why are you filming another piece of content? Whatever it is, it's just like there is that family belief of like, yep, we've got something here. It's a whole new way to look at things, and like I said, if people, I get it that people kind of don't understand how some of this stuff works, and that's okay. I mean, I urge everybody to do research on aeroponics and hydroponics,
Right.
and by all means, like I said, one of the big things that we do here with our company is we actually show how we build the stuff. Obviously it's kind of like, if you have the tools and you have the material and you actually have the know-how to do it, I've always said to people, you could build this too. And I'm sure that lots of people have tried and they want to or whatever. But like, I'm kind of here to offer them up like a place for content where people go and build stuff that other people want to see built. And then they're like, oh, neat. That actually worked. What happened? How did you do that?
Right.
What did it take to do that? And I mean, that's what I did with a cloner. So I'm not trying to do anything like, you know what I mean? Like I saw an easy cloner. I asked how it was built, and then I thought maybe I can build one. Now I took it a step further. Nobody ever decided to do what I did, and that was one of my MVPs for the company. But again, man, it's all just a matter of who manufactures what. So that's kind of how we came to be with all of those designs. So yeah.
No, and I mean that's so great. I mean, heck, if I could make something, I'd make it. But I mean, I take
That's and
calls.
that's
I
that
make
was
stuff
kind of
all
one of
the
the
time.
yeah, that was kind of one of the aspects that we thought. I mean, like we have a 225 site cloner coming out in this year, and I mean it's comparable to the performance of say the current culture H2O. It would be that style of cloner, and I mean you could go and look up a current culture H2O industrial grade cloner, see what it is, catch the price tag on it, and prepare to be having some sleepless nights about what that thing's actually going to run you.
I'll bet.
But I mean,
Yeah.
this is again, our design basically took that, stripped down all of the components that you don't really need, figured out which ones do really work, put it all together, and we got it figured out. So I mean, that was always the thing with me is like, if you want to try and build one for yourself, I highly encourage you to do so. That was part of the ethos of our company is like, for some people going to Home Depot and buying a 5-inch hole saw and a drill and a battery and the fittings and then the hoses and having a manifold and then going to the grow store and getting your net pots and your your pump and your like everything else that you need. Some people just don't have an interest in actually walking around and doing all that stuff, and so they go to a store and they buy the kit. And I mean, that's kind of where we came in. But we offer just a little bit of a twist on that, and a little bit more innovation than you can get at maybe just a walk-in hydroponic store. But hey, it's not going to be for everybody, and we understand that. We're okay with it. It's hey, it is what it is. It's our business strategy, and it's working, and we're really happy about it. So
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm one of those guys that I would drive down to the Home Depot and I would stand there and I would look at the hole saw and I'd be thinking in my head how it was going to work and how much I was going to do, and I'd be thinking about the other stuff, and then I'd be thinking about having to go elsewhere, and then I'd buy something else, go home and order it. I mean, seriously. I would drive to Home Depot. It would work its way through my brain. Now, I have built stuff. I've reverse engineered stuff and built it only because what I built was better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like, yeah, I could have, hey, I could have also got, like, I could go and buy a grow tent, and that's fine. I mean, there's no shame in having grow tents. I have them in use right now as well. But I also, being a carpenter, said, I think I'm going to build myself a grow room. Wow, what a novel idea. So if you, like I always say to people, if you've got the skill to build what I built, I want you to, hey man, check out our videos. And if you built it the way we did it, all the power to you. If you've got better innovation, enjoy it. I look forward to chatting with you on one of my shows on YouTube about it. That'd be the best. So
yeah, because I had that doggone intermission, man. Media.
That's the good shit. Jeff smoking the good shit, eh?
I'm gonna ask a final question, and then I think let's just BS or chit chat, and then maybe we can attack the crowd because there were some things I wanted to just rap about. I think if I can remember them.
No worries, man. Take your time. I'm here all night.
But my final little question is, what's next for Ogo Grown and Lifestyle? What's next?
Oh, well, Jeff, we got some things, in the oven, cooking up. But honestly, for us, we're just going to stay on this track. We like what we're doing right now. We have a few products coming out there, like I said, in the springtime, and I would love to. Hey, we'll just leave it for the springtime. But like I said, we're just going to carry on this trajectory here. I mean, at our hobby farm, I know this year we have a pile of renovating and changing around to do, as well as in our manufacturing facility. We just want to switch it up, get everything really organized. We want to see everything kind of just all in one spot. I mean, with my shop layout the way it is, we just kind of started building. We realized that we were having some hiccups where we had our workstation set up, and we said, guys, maybe for the springtime, let's aim to just kind of clear out a whole space, dedicate it to Ogo. Not unlike the grow rooms that I just constructed for myself, but genuinely just being able to put everything and all the effort and all the focus in one spot there. I'm looking forward to another phenomenal season of Gorilla Ponics. That's just going to be a lot of fun outdoors. I'm going to be running all 12 barrels. I've got a fantastic genetic selection lined up. There's been all kinds of great people sending me some beans here and there, and I want to kind of almost just try like one of each and just give some tribute to everybody who's hooked us up with some killer genetics and see what happens with them out in Gorilla Ponics, because it's just a lot of fun to hang out there in the summer and do that whole different grow system. It's totally different than the indoor stuff. I mean, indoors is fun, but everybody loves that good old sun-grown cannabis, right? So.
Oh yeah. I don't, because I believe you can and I've said it before. You can taste the sun. I just think it's there, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's I mean listen, everything has its own merits, right? The consistency of the indoor, the way it always can finish the way that you exactly want it to. Um that's a beautiful thing. Outdoors offers a little bit of that, like, I guess maybe natural beauty, in my opinion. Just the way the sunlight moves across the sky, watching the seasons roll through. It's all got its own little specific value for the plant as you're watching it and getting to see it interact with the seasons. And that's particularly valuable to become a better indoor grower too. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if you get to see how things actually interact with sunlight, with weather, it just makes your indoor grow that much more thorough and understood. It's just like, you want to replicate some of the things that you see outside.
right.
It's fun. So yeah.
Because I've grown some really frosty stuff inside, but the frostiest and best stuff I've ever grown is out in that greenhouse. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I
So
mean,
spot on.
there's there's something to be said too. I mean, some of the, maybe the most trichome rich grows that you have are the result of that natural stress. Being hit by maybe a little bit too much UV, or being hit by a little bit too long of a wind or rainstorm. Those are the types of defense mechanisms that actually kick off the trichomes producing a little bit heavier on the plant. So, those
Okay.
natural stressors are there for a reason, and they do serve the plant well. So, I mean, again, there's nuances to that too. Of course, your plants are also exposed to dirty old air, or what have you, all kinds of other stuff. There's birds flying over all year. There's, I get all that. There's lots of nuances to indoor versus outdoor. I mean, obviously we get to control damn near everything indoors, and you just
Right.
gotta
Right.
remain vigilant of your pests and your disease, and you're all set. So it's fun. Yeah, I mean, I like them both, but I prefer the aspect of having both in constant rotation as well too. I don't think I would love just one or just the other. So that's my thought, anyways.
Because I'm writing something down here. Because you mentioned grow room before. I mean, trust me, if I could turn my garage into a grow room,
Yeah.
but see, I have to build another garage. Wendy's car is not going to sit out in the snow. It ain't happening. So, but if I could build a grow room, hell yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have any tents. I would do the same thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
You're talking about plan. I mean, as a grower, that's what you do. Do you
Yeah.
keep notes, or do you keep uh, um, books, or diaries about your grows, or do you just keep it kind of up here?
Kind of a little column of all three of those, I guess you would say. I do have notes. Most certainly the notes are more from years gone by. One of the things that, like, I can go to those notes, just to kind of see where I was at mentally for some of the stuff that I grew in other facilities. You always catch little quips that you write down about what the fuck's happening that day, or what you had a problem about, or whatever it was. But yeah, certainly there was the writing aspect. So there's a couple binders that kick around. I'm also really huge on just making, like, to-do lists for myself. So one of the ways that I do that is carry a little pocketbook for myself. I'm not really big on typing my lists. I think it's probably the actual I mean, sitting right here, I
Right.
have this notepad right beside me, and a pen, and I think it's the actual motion of the the pen sliding across it, knowing that it's done, kind of thing. You're like, all right, good. And there's that. It's also, like, fun to look back on those little paper records. Everyone, you see what you're like, oh yeah, fuck, that was the day I was moving
Right.
plants into flowering, or whatever it was. But so there's that, and then also my phone, of course. I mean, I literally upgraded the storage capacity of my phone so that I would have more pictures of grow rooms and plants and fucking silly
Right.
shit all around the yard, and all this fun stuff that I'm getting into constantly. But yeah, nevertheless, it's and then the last part obviously is keeping the mental game sharp, but there's lots of ways to help that, and of course, it's I've I've probably fucking forgotten more than I've learned, but you never know. It's always one of those things. I mean, I have the Growers Bible up here, which we are reading. We basically read an excerpt from it every
I saw
Sunday.
you.
So
I saw you read
that
that this morning.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So
Page
it does help
17.
me. It does help me stay kind of crisp on not just hydro and arrow, but all the other aspects. Germinating, cloning, veg room, flowering room. Humidity ideals, whatever it is, light wattage conversions, whatever page somebody picks. We'll just read
17 was
it.
today.
What's that?
Page 17 was this morning.
Oh, you were there, were you? You were in the Sunday service. Big salute to
Yeah.
you, my friend. Yeah, it was germinating. Yeah, we did the two types of germinating. Yeah. So and I read quite a while. I mean, I just kept reading. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm not gonna read this full chapter for everybody.
Wow.
So but no, I mean that's what it is around here. Like I've basically immersed myself and my whole family in cannabis for the last 15 plus years. I've just been so obsessed with it as a plant. And then I mean, like I said, I think anybody logically, if they had the ability to find a way to make a business that's at their home and they get to spend some time with their dogs and use their gardens and their grow rooms to
Right.
run their business, that's I mean, I think anybody would want to do that per se. I mean, lots of people do, and they seem rather happy. So I thought maybe I should try my hand at that. And it's not unlike carpentry in the sense that like there's literally always something to do, and I always feel behind. But then also it's not like carpentry at all in the sense that I don't necessarily have to load up my truck every single day and go to a job site. Now that being said, one of the services that we do offer through our company still is grow room commissioning. So if companies just like Marywell, like where Misfits is working, if they decide that they need an outside contractor that's insured and ready to go into a licensed facility, we are just that. And so I think Misfits, if he was in here, he would certainly say he's happy to have our services, because not only do I understand the mechanics of the grow room, but also the mechanics of the plant. And it's pretty fun to be able to have both of those overlap in a bit of a Venn diagram, and then I use that for my expertise, and Pete and I get to work, and away we go. So I mean, it's you have to have a little bit of knowledge in both of those aspects, and let it rip. So that's what we're doing down there, and that being said, I still think that that's a cool aspect, but I don't have to do it every single day like I did with carpentry. If I wanted to go back into carpentry full bore again, I'm sure it would not be that much of an adjustment, but I really like what we are doing right now. So yes, yeah, I've seen Ali saying I've commissioned out a few facilities, and yes, I have. So that's one of the things that we offer, though. So
Oh no, that's cool. I mean, I would like myself. I've always got or always had, this. You're always thinking, man, I wish I could do a business. I wish I could come up with some kind of a business. I mean, I got a lot of ideas, and you can ask. I'm gonna laugh. I'm sorry. You can ask Wendy. I'm the idea man. She's the executioner. In a bunch of ways.
Yeah. She'll knock it down if it's no good, or what?
Oh, well, that too. No,
I know.
I come up with an idea, and then she has to make it happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, there's that one too.
Yeah. So.
No, most certainly. I mean, that's that you and I run parallel there. I mean, I think because it's Alexandra and I, we are a dynamic pair. She really does hold down the office skills. I mean, her Shannon and Jax all have a part in that, but for certain, she is definitely our email correspondent. And I mean, she keeps the website rolling, and then Jax, of course, we have her on editing and advertising. And then Shannon is in charge of shipping. She's also helps coordinate with emails, and Shannon will go on the road with me if we're heading out to hydroponic stores. And then, of course, Pete and I are the manufacturing side of things. So we work together to build whatever is needed, whatever is ordered. And and the other thing about Ogo Grown too, like Ogo Growth Systems, is that I mean, Misfits is one of the, again, an example of a company that's already approached us to build them a custom mothering enclosure, whereas they can just keep all mothers in an aeroponic, like a rather large, robust, industrial grade aeroponic machine that just leaves them running healthy and ready to rock at all hours of the day. So it just it just takes away. I mean, that's what we build, right? Is like if people want custom use items for their grow facilities, they contact us. We go and do what we have to do, either in house or we'll build it in our manufacturing facility and deliver it with our trailer. So. Yeah, it's a great way to do it. It's kind of a different take on things. I'm sure there are other companies out there that do this with in terms of like designs with hydroponics and aeroponics. But I mean the items that we have coming up this year are the Silverback Mini, and the Industrial Cloner, and then after that we've got, of course, Gorillaponics rolling out just after
Because
that.
it's the year of the Silverback. Is that not
It's
it?
the year of the Silverback. That's
There you
right.
go,
That's
baby.
right. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's one of those things where we're really looking forward to, as our name grows, and maybe the larger LPs or even the micros, whatever it is, if they don't have the people in house to build what they need built, they just call us and they contract it out to us. It's a pretty clean deal in terms of contracting. They say what they want, we design it, we build it, and we ship it to them. So
When you mentioned the mothers, that clicked a thing that I wrote down on the notes that have been blown away from me here.
sure.
When I had Sheba on, she
Yeah.
showed us her mothership,
Yeah.
and or no, when she was when she did her live, she showed
Yep.
her mothership, and I asked a question, but I don't know if I got an answer. But what I was asking was, what do you feed? Because when I clone,
There's questions in the chat about that too.
oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How you feed them, right?
Yeah, how do you feed them? Because when I clone, I dip it in that blue Clonex, and I got my Clonex stuff floating around in there. I clone it, and then I put it in dirt. If I've got the mother in there, what am I feeding everybody?
Well, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. That's I could give you a brief little explanation as to how the mothership works and why it works.
No, that'd be great. I mean, because that'd be a great. Thanks. Sorry.
No worries. One thing that I would encourage everybody to do is, as they're listening to me, is keep an open mind, because one of the things that I find in cannabis, in the culture here, it seems that like everybody can be fairly set in their ways and their understanding of how these things work. Which is, I mean, it's good to be certain of what you know, but there's also like a whole ocean out there of things that maybe we haven't even come across yet. Just a quick little nuance, like one of my close friends here that I chat with often, who absolutely loves hydroponics, DWC, aeroponics, the likes. He's currently feeding his clones at 2.0 EC, which is incredibly rich in terms of what we know as common knowledge for what you would feed clones in a cloner. But he heard it from some other YouTuber. He listened to what this guy said and said, you know what, fuck it. What do I got to lose? I'm going to cut some clones. I'm going to throw them in, and let's see what happens if we run them at a 2.0 EC. To his surprise, and to my surprise also, he's finding that his results seem to be spot on, and possibly creating an even more robust clone. And this is the claim that this other YouTuber had made about said cloning and feeding it at that rate. So again, I'm not any person to say what does or does not work for any given system, but certainly the mothership was designed with my own understanding of how a mother actually lives inside of an aeroponic system. And really, what dawned on me with that is that, well, if the mother can live in a system like that, and a clone can live in a system like that, and they actually kind of eat a similar diet, what if we just cut out all the bullshit and the middleman and we actually just make cloning easy again, and we really kind of turn everything that everybody understood on its head? And so that's where the mothership came in. And again, in a terms of making a splash and a statement as to your understanding of how aeroponics actually works, that's a perfect item to do so. It harnesses two sides of the grow, whereas anybody that actually clones off of an aeroponic mother knows how fast they actually can regenerate when they're in their, when they're in perfectly healthy water and in a grow room that allows them to regenerate as quickly as they should. So that's one part of mothers and aeroponics that I love. The other part is the rate at which clones can generate roots inside an aeroponic system. So that was those two things just naturally put together in my brain. I'm like, well, wait, you want your mother to regenerate quickly and you want your clones to root quickly. Let's see what happens if we feed the clones the exact same food as the mother, right? So there you go. So this is the premise of how I actually built the product. Now, when I talked to one of my more elder mentors, she was an IPM expert at the facility that I first worked at. And I brought the design to her attention one day. And I said, Rita, what do you think of this? And she kind of she stopped right there in the hall. And she was just like, Andrew, I'm not going to lie to you. That's a fucking incredible idea. Like, I don't know why nobody thought of it before you just did right here, or I haven't seen that product yet, but you got something there. I mean, try it and see if it works. And so I built one and I put a mother in it, and mothers do their things. They start to shoot their roots at the bottom. I left the cloner empty, right? There was no need to even fill it. So I grew out a mom. I grew her up really, really nice and healthy. And then I cut 18 clones and I put them all into the machine. And lo and behold, I mean, literally, it was 7 days later we had roots. So root nodules, right? Not actual visible, not a fishbone root or anything like that, but certainly white nodes on a green cambium. So yeah, and I mean, that was, again, if you have everything dialed in a grow room, you could expect to see that maybe with rock wool, maybe with your peat plugs, but you probably will have some sort of dampening off. You might not have, you certainly wouldn't be expecting 100% success rate. You wouldn't expect it. It'd be cool if you got it. It'd be cool if you worked towards that, but you wouldn't be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do this and every single cut that I take is going to work. But in the system that I made, every single cut rooted. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So the clones can eat what the mom eats. That makes perfect total sense. Okay. So then the next thing was I started to think about surgery from like a human being's perspective. Now, let's say you go in for surgery and you got to go under. And so they know that they're about to do some knifing on you. And right before they put you to sleep, they fucking, they spray it with some chemical. And then you wake up and you're in a totally different time zone with totally different nurses, and the music's all different and the food's all different, and you don't know where you're at, and the rest of you is nowhere to be found. You're going to kind of just be like, what in the fuck just happened to me? Why am I not in my own bed? Why, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have questions. You're going to be stressed, and you're going to have this, like, a little bit of stress, I guess you would say, right? That'd probably be the easiest way to put it, is if you woke up like that after surgery, you're not a happy camper. And so realistically, what I thought about was, imagine if you took a cut and it never lost a feeding and it woke up on the same light cycle at a slightly lower, less intense light rate. And it was on the exact same music and on the exact same food, and the person in the room was the same. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't have to shift from mother room with these high intensity discharge over to a T5 with this, whatever little amount of light that it's getting here, because it was just a healthy mother plant, right? You know what I mean? It was like, it was just there. It was living, it was booming, it was thumping, and now it's been cut.
Right.
So it would only make sense that if you want both of those things to heal and root as fast as possible, literally just keep the conditions the same for them. And if the mother's already in a healthy space and you know that she's doing good and the water's clean and the water's been prepped, that's like you guys watched me do it. I cut all my clones. I took the mother, I pruned it all out, I trained it down, I cut all the clones, and I didn't have to dip them in anything, and it was all done in about 50 minutes. So,
Right.
no cloning gel, no chemicals, no anything added, just that, and that was it, and I did it. So,
Yeah, because that was the only thing that I was curious about, because I've only done cloning the one way. You know, I
right,
can't and I can't take, because you got those people, they'll take it, they'll do whatever, and they'll stick it in the soil and it
yeah,
grows.
yeah.
I'm not one of those. I gotta go with the cloner, and then I go to the soil.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, like for me personally, Jeff, of course, when you're trying to get people into hydroponics or aeroponics, you have to make sure that you start right down at the first. Like you have to get the base step right because the
Right.
whole thing is based on bare roots anyways. So,
Right.
if you start with say a peat plug or soil or whatever, you're actually kind of starting on a hind foot in terms of like what we want to accomplish within the realms of our grow rooms. So it only makes sense that you take a cut from a perfectly healthy mom, you put it into the cloner, it roots super duper fast. You throw it into a net pot, throw your rocks around it, and you put it into the big system. You either veg it out or you let it rip into flower. The choice is yours. But I mean, the point of it is making sure that the cloning is as quick and easy as possible with the least
Right.
amount of inputs, especially for repetition's sake, because I've been doing this for so long. Obviously, chemicals cost. Every bottle of Clonex cost. Every bottle of CalMag. Every fucking thing that we want to put into our reservoir or our clone or our mother, it all costs money. So the less of that you have to use, the better it is. So that was my little innovation that I brought to the world, and people were watching my live and they were like, what happened? Where's the gel?
Right.
Where's the cutting board? Where's the scalpel? And I'm standing there and I take a cut and I cut it and I strip the leaves off it and I put it into the puck and it's in the cloner less than 30 seconds after it came off the mother plant. So technically it won't even miss a feed. The pump will come back on,
Right. Right.
it'll hit that stem and it'll do the rest. And you don't need a rooting hormone if the plant's already feeling healthy and it's not stressing. It wants to live. They called it weed for a reason.
Right.
So
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
Right. No, because
Yeah.
that's the thing when she was showing it, and that's the thing that popped into my head. Well, I was just trying to figure out how to feed them and stuff, but it popped into my head how if I was keeping a mother plant all the time,
Yeah.
I mean that works perfect for me because it grows. I clone it right there. I mean, I don't even move it out of the tin.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It, it just seems
That's
so easy.
what it is. I mean, I have the light on. Okay, so I have the lights in my bedroom on 24 hours a day. That's on the low. That's like on the less volt, like the lower wattage lights, like my T5s, T8s, all that
Right.
stuff. So they're running 24/7. My photon tech that sits above my main grow system, it runs 18 hours on, 6 hours off. So in the room, there's 24-hour light, but only 18 of it's actually direct on the main mother plant. So they do get a little bit of a downtime, but the light's always present so that they'll never slip into flower.
Right.
And then from there, you just of course, after a certain age, you can kind of
Yeah.
see it on them. I mean, I've held on to mother plants for way, way, way too long just to see what happens. And after 16 months, that's like the
Oh man.
stalk is fucking huge. The plant's growing so slow. It's it's just it's literally an old plant. You know, she's a good old
Yeah.
girl. So she's not healing quite as fast. You know, the fluids are moving slower through it. Everything you just see it, the growth is slowing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's certainly like with that mothership, it kind of did take everything that everybody really thought about cloning with a cloner versus a mother, like what it all looks like. I mean, I feed my mothers anywhere between 800 to 1200 ppm. Typically, after every cutting session, I'll add a dosage of Super B into the reservoir. So that's a good one to add in just for de-stressing immediately. I think that's just thiamine. I can't. Or it's a couple. I think it's a B complex. So it's got the full array, but it certainly your plants love it for de-stressing. So that's one thing that I add in just after. But the beautiful thing about that cloner is that like you can feed it, and that mother plant will just do her thing in there for a good little while before you have to start modding on it. So
No, that's cool. That's because that's what I thought when I saw it, and she's all proud of it. And she's proud of her um the one that she got some roots on.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, hey, that was her first
yeah.
attempt at
Oh yeah.
cloning in aeroponics ever. So good on her for sticking with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
She was good there. Yeah, she's
Yep.
good there.
Yep, she's having a good time with it. I mean, that's the thing is like I told her personally, I said, look, like it's just you're gonna have to learn. It's just like everything else we do. It's just like you got to go through the paces. Not everything's gonna be a home run straight out of the park.
Right. And that's good. That's good advice for new growers. It's you know, um, like my sister, she started growing a while back, and I told her, I said, hey, she's like, is it hard? I said, it's not that bad, but it's not. I take this seed, I put it in, and it grows. No, that there's a little more to it than that. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, well, Jeff, like I guess the nuance to that is like a person who runs a say living soil bed, if they've got their living soil and it's all running the way they feel that they want it to and the plants are giving them those results, it
boom.
might be a simple matter of adding a bit of water in to keep everything rolling through and
Yeah,
keep the composting of the debris well and alive. But that's not my style. And to those people
right,
that want to do it like that, all the power to them. And I wish them a happy, healthy
right.
harvest for sure. But we just picked our little thing that we want to do, and we
Heck
started
yeah,
into it. And
heck yeah.
I think Crumbleweed says it often too. When you first start growing, I think there's a tendency to want to try and be everywhere and do everything at once.
Right,
And as you get older and older into the growing career, you're kind of like, well, if I'm doing that, I probably shouldn't also be doing this. And fill in the blank for whatever it is. But like I said, the more you try to diversify what you're focusing on, the less quality you'll start to see overall. I would assume. I mean, unless you have a full team with you that wants to run it with you,
right.
and that's great too. So.
And that can lead you back to your notebooks or whatever. You know,
Yep. Yep.
hey,
Absolutely.
I was doing
Absolutely. I mean,
a
yeah,
totally
I
different
I,
thing.
I never intend on ever being done learning how to grow and learning how to run all these different systems, whether it's one of the ones that I have manufactured or any other one. I just enjoy the concept of what it means to kind of try anything and see if you like it. So.
No, what else is on your mind, Andrew? You
Oh
picked
shit! No, I don't know, man. I mean, this is on my mind a lot, but I mean, on a personal note, I have a very elderly German Shepherd that has been. I'm watching his health kind of go downhill there, but he is my boy, and I'm with him to the very very end. But he's been on my mind a lot lately. I just got through an awesome little Christmas holiday there. I'm keen to get back down to Merrywell. Yeah, I mean it's. I'm keen to do some. I'm keen to do some tours of some other facilities as well. I've got a couple buddies that I've been talking to who actually have nothing to do with cannabis, but one has a tomato facility and one has a green pepper facility. Both of those are hydroponic. I think they're NFT channel style grows. You know what I mean? You've seen them before, I'm sure.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's actually one of the things that I really love doing with our YouTube channel is trying to just get out there. I'm also thinking my guy Nicholas there, he runs a mushroom farm, not psilocybin, the eating kind. And that would really be fascinating to see because, basically from what I understand is like a mushroom grow is basically they're not too far different from a cannabis grow, say, but there are definitely subtle nuances, light exposure, things like that. They have to take into account humidity, all of that stuff, temp. So I want to learn from this guy. He is an expert mushroom grower. At least in my opinion, he would probably tell you otherwise, but certainly he knows his way around the old growing the fungi. So that's
And
kind of neat.
the thing there is
Yeah.
that is cool science, and that will make your mind. Oh no, you're gonna love that. I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but you're gonna love that.
Go ahead.
Did he freeze?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I think I glitched out there.
No,
Yeah,
you'll love that. I think you'll love. I think you'll love that because that. Yeah, it's.
oh
cool
yeah,
science.
no, and then also just the there's a bison farm just up the road too. Now this guy that I have been talking to for some time, this guy is fascinating, but he's a very elderly gentleman and he owns a bison farm. And so I've always had an interest with both bison, but also being able to produce my own food. And so that's one of the things that I'm actually really looking forward to is touring his farm and seeing what it takes to raise bison. And I mean, between the peppers, the tomatoes, the mushroom facility, and then of course the bison
Big old
farm.
mistake.
That's you pretty much got all the food groups you need there. I don't know. There's a couple other things I guess we should have, but no, that's kind of where we're headed with the YouTube channel this year. And certainly too, I mean, one of the things that I should touch on, I mean, we're here on the Growing Old Cannabis channel, but I should remind everybody too that when you're growing hydroponics and aeroponics, one of the things that kind of caught my attention earlier last year was it was a mutual friend of ours, Growing Old, and she was introduced to me by a mutual friend of mine and hers, TFP. And when her and I started hanging out, I was talking to her a lot about gorillaponics, and she was showing me her system, what she does in her 10 by 20 tent there, her recirculating aeroponics. And she was the one that really kind of got me aware that I could do so much more with my aeroponic knowledge and kind of actually start to churn out a shit ton of food for myself. And that was really, really cool. I mean, that was something that I wasn't even necessarily expecting to find last year. But certainly when we met her, we realized that there's a whole other side to growing hydroponically and aeroponically that I had not really even touched yet, and that to me was kind of a cool turning point as well. And then I mean, even further on that note, our good friend Jack Ashes, who introduced me to you, he came out to my house this summer, and we planted a whole shit ton of well, it was actually scapes that we ended up planting aeroponically, and they grew. Yeah, they were. Was it scapes or leeks? No, it was scapes. Yeah, it was scapes. It was scapes that ended up growing like crazy, and I mean, they had the most robust little white roots. It was fantastic. So I mean, that was one of those things where this past year I was just like, yeah, wow, we should use this for more than just cannabis because, hey, man, everybody grows their share eventually.
Oh
so.
heck yeah! I grew potatoes in a auto pot.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I grew potatoes and onions. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just to try it out.
That'd be a good pan fry right after you harvest it too, I bet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So no, on that note too, I mean, we're going to be building out the flowering room is going to be finished here. I would trust before the end of January. We're not in too big of a rush to um, finish it up at the moment. We're going down to Marywell to finish up all those build outs for them, and then when I'm back home, we will be happy to have the flowering room online at our place here. But half of it's going to be dedicated to food and half of it will be dedicated to our lovely cannabis. So,
Oh heck yeah!
yeah, buddy. Yeah. So that's kind of what we got on. That's what's on my mind lately. Other than that, just hanging out with Sonny Boy, hanging out with the wife, playing with our dogs. I mean, it's a pretty easy life around here. I got a lot of wood to cut next year. I'm gonna be into that, hot and heavy. I freaking love
Yeah.
cutting wood. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
we used to cut. We used to live in South Dakota, and we used to cut a lot of wood up there. And I mean, we loved it. That was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's well listen, if you're ever coming up my way there, Uncle Jeff, I got an axe waiting here for you if you're
Yeah.
trying to get her swung.
you know, one year I bought Wendy a chainsaw for Christmas.
How'd that go?
Well,
And
actually, we're still married.
I got
What she would do is
Touche.
she would cut it, and then I would have to lug it up a hill to the truck, and I'd have to say, "Hey, I'd rather make more trips. You have to cut a little smaller because she cut them big."
Yeah, it's Allie claims that she wants to run the chainsaw, but I don't know if that's a real claim or she says that to humor me and say I want to run a chainsaw, but I'm happier that you maybe run it.
Right.
But most certainly, I mean, typically what we do is we actually we truck in 60 cord every year. We didn't do that this year because we actually got married back in October there, and we didn't want a full load of logs right in the center of
Right.
our yard as everybody was coming over to our reception. So we staved off on that. But yeah, next year I'll have. I'm sure we'll have another 60 cord worth of logs right there in the yard, and I'll be going to town, getting her all cut up well before winter. I learned my lesson this year. Don't
Oh yeah.
let the wood supply slide. So it'll be a close winter, but I think we got enough. So knock on wood, I'll figure it out.
And that's what we used to do. He'd drive up, he'd pull it off, put it in the driveway,
Yeah.
cut it up, and then we'd stack it. Yeah. It was all better that way. It was all
Yes,
way-
sir. Yes. So I mean, other than that too, I just want to keep on filming a lot of podcasts. We have the online version. We've got the in studio one here that we do too. So maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get an episode with you on my online one, and maybe someday if you guys go for a little drive, hey, maybe you come on up and we do one in real life too. That'd be wicked, bro.
Well, and that's one of the things I think we talked. I can't remember before the show, but I think it's one of the things we were kind of talking about is the reason that this show exists right now. Is because I came on your show. That was on a Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, and then I came up on your show again on a Monday, and that's where I met Sheba.
Yep.
And then New Year's, or was that Christmas Eve? New Year's Eve. That's when Sheba came up on a show just like this. And
Yep.
she was great. And all of a sudden, I thought to myself, you know what? I had such a great time on your show, and I had such a great time with Sheba. I would like to try and do something just like you did in this. So I'm copying you kind of.
No worries.
But
No worries.
no, I just want to say thanks for being here, because and I'm all excited. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I'm honored to be here. Honestly, you guys reaching out to me like that, I was like, damn, all right. I'm happy to. I'd be happy to sit down with Mr. Growing Old himself. Yeah, like I said, man, Jack Ashes was the guy that he was like, "You got to beat growing old, man. You're gonna love this guy. You're gonna love his channel." And I mean, hey, I'm here because of you. So that's truth be told that I learned a lot about going live and just being myself and doing me, just like, I was watching you. I've been watching Jack. Crumblewig has been a big form of inspiration. I mean, there's lots of great grow shows out there. I love everybody that's doing their own grow show or their own grow and they're just showing it off. It takes stones to be able to do that and just put it out there and be like, yeah, you might love it, you might hate it, but it is what it is. So thank you for showing me the way, I guess is what I was trying to say.
Oh, I and what I was going to say, yeah, because you're spot on when you said, it takes some stones. I mean, it's not like you just jump up here and everything's great,
Yeah.
because you got your head going, so your stomach hurts, and I've spoken in front of huge crowds before, given speeches, and never felt as. Every time I do one of these, it's the same. You're just like, man, am I gonna mess something up? Am I gonna? Yeah. So it takes a lot to get up here. You think you and I, people out there like, you guys are lying. It looks easy. It ain't.
Certainly not. I mean, hey, the problems become the procedure. I think that's true of everything in life. Like I said earlier, it's like it's no different for streaming, Jeff. You know what I mean? Like I heard you had a relaunch. What was that, yesterday? You had to do a relaunch?
Yeah.
That was I thought you were copying me there because we had that same thing happen. I don't know. Were you in our chat for that? Because we had the same thing happen. I think
I was. I think I was. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was an honest mistake, right? It was just like Shannon was in the studio, and instead of hitting leave, right? Instead of hitting the one red button, she hit the other red button. Honest mistake. And
that's what we was doing.
It was great. I mean, we actually laughed it off, and Jax had the relaunch going before we even left the studio. It was just perfect. So
no, and that's I want to, and that's why I wanted to touch, and that's what it came out fumbly when I was asking about partners. It came out, I'll just say it came out fucked up. But what I was trying to get is how important, like Wendy is right now. She's got like 3 things running over here. She hands notes. She lets dogs in and out. And all I'm doing is watching.
Yeah.
And that's what you got going on. So, and that's what I was trying to get at is how important it is to have the support, and how you and I have an advantage over some of these other content creators because they're filmer, actor, editor. The video that we're doing for the hash.
It's tough.
When is video in that thing?
Yeah.
So
yeah, but, I'm gonna give a big salute to every content creator out there who does rocket solo, because like I know full well that like the team behind me handles their parts and they handle them the way they're supposed to, and we just roll and we have a lot of fun while we do it. But it's because everybody like when you think about a YouTube channel or career or whatever it looks like, it is not as easy as I film something, I edit it out, and I upload it once a day. There's a lot more to take into account for it, particularly if you're heading towards the route of monetization. And then there's the constant flow of content that needs to be put out in order to remain even just accessible on YouTube, because it's crazy how quick a search query can be pushed away from the top of the list if you're not using your YouTube correctly. So there's that part of it, but then there's just the sheer volume of information both coming in and going out. So I give a huge props to every person that rocks it solo. It's a fucking tough gig, and I mean,
Yeah, it
like I
is.
said, you said it perfectly. All you have to do is go up on screen, and sometimes I feel the same way because I know everything that's happening in the background to make everything run smoothly.
Right.
I'm just fucking sitting here, and there's a studio in behind me. They're running their thing. I'm doing my thing, but they also rely like they don't want to be on camera. And like, fuck
Right.
that. I'll do this. You go. You get out there and go on
Right.
camera. And it is what it is. But it's this is my chosen part of our dynamic breakdown, and that's how it goes. But like I said, I gotta give credit where credit is due to anybody that rocks that shit solo. And I should say too, some people have fantastic luck with their or skill with their editing, and
Yeah.
they hit the algorithm and they do it all right, and they know what they're doing and they're off to the races. Again, there is a I feel like there is something to be learned from every single person who interfaces with YouTube. Some of us roll it slow. Some people upload every day. Some people like. Have you ever scrolled through the live feed on your YouTube growing old just to see what kind of fucking nonsense there is out there on YouTube just to see what other lives are going on?
Yeah. Oh, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even talking no cannabis. Just like I'll flip through and I'm like, what the
Right.
fuck is that? Like,
Yeah.
like that live feed. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
one. Like it'll feed you like it's like TikTok. You're like, what the fuck is it? Like,
I've seen some
it,
of them. Yeah.
yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just like I just sometimes I watch YouTube and I'm like, oh, okay, it's weird that our cannabis videos are the things that get any issue. Like of all the things that I've seen uploaded to YouTube, it's always fucking stumps me that this little plant is the most offensive thing out there. I mean, it's yeah.
Right. Right. I won't mention it, but I was flicking through there, and this guy was like Dr. Red somebody or other, and he made a product, and he was had a YouTube channel for it, and I'm like,
Okay.
didn't Breaking Bad do that on TV?
That
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
and
No,
I'm
I
like,
mean honestly, like if
how
you
is that on my feed at all?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, and that's just it. I mean, if there should be some way for you to just disclaim, like, just to say, hey, look, like, it's a cannabis channel. Like, can we just make sure that people know that, and then they can be up or down about it? But I mean, even more to our point with our channel, like, I think you've seen us trying to diversify because again, when you have any affiliation to the plant, whether you grow it professionally or you're a extractor or you're
right,
a bud sampler or whatever, a grower, whatever it is, you know if your information or your content is always hampered as a result of the fact that you enjoy cannabis, then obviously, I mean, the writing on the wall for us was like, okay, I think we just diversify what we put on our screen.
right,
You know what I mean? And like, it's funny that you brought the media asset to this episode. I certainly appreciate that. But I mean, that concept was born out of the fact that like we looked over certain documentation that's presented to you from YouTube. Our actual legal team went through it, and there's a huge issue with not just the presentation of the plant, say on a live, but actually the usage of the paraphernalia. That's something that's
right,
just genuinely frowned upon by the YouTube owners or whatever it is. The YouTube policy just does not like glassware. And I would assume, I mean, if you think about it from like a logical outsider standpoint, we've all had a thing where we watched a dabber with their fucking dab rig and their utensils and their vial and their torch and their Q-tips and their fucking wizard's hat, and you're like, bro, what do you got in there? Like, you're watching them and you're like, are you smoking just dabs? And so there's that, right? There's sometimes people use glassware that looks like glassware that
correct,
other consumers
right,
may
right,
have in their So
Right.
so it's like, again, because of like that old reefer madness style thinking where cannabis use has been just lumped in with every other type of drug use. From a logical standpoint, you can just see how YouTube's like, are you smoking crack? We don't have time to decide. Your
Yeah.
video is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And that's like,
I can tell you,
that's
we got
that they can't differentiate between yeah, and I mean that's not to say that dab rigs look like crack pipes, but I mean certainly just glassware coming out and torches and all kinds of weird, whatever it is that you're into. YouTube's not here to fucking play one by one police. They're trying to
right.
manage. They're trying to manage a
Right.
massive app at scale.
Right.
So they're just like bloop.
Yeah,
So
we've sent them something because we lost an appeal. It's like, well, hey, and they're like, oh, you're right, but you only
yeah,
get one appeal. You already lost that.
yep,
Well, okay,
exactly. So
I just
if you
presented
wanna,
the evidence. Yeah. So
if
yeah,
you that's just it. Like if you want to fight them on every decision they make, I don't know. I don't know. It gets a weird thing because it
yeah,
becomes like you want to be able to put your content out and just do it in a natural means and just smoke your fucking weed and relax. Sure, that's great, but like that actively gets removed from being pushed any further, and like even to the point of like a Sunday service, right? Like our Sunday service that we do. One time, Jeff, I didn't smoke in the service because I wasn't feeling great.
uh,
I moved the bong off the table. Same. I didn't
yeah.
consume.
We,
I went from off frame across frame and I set it down. And that
I can say
was
we've got a
yeah,
video because what we do is we just put them up, and then when
yeah.
YouTube says age restricted, well, then we just leave it.
Yeah,
We've got
and it is
one
what it is. I mean, like
right.
we're not gonna try and act like we don't smoke weed on camera. There's just certain segments that we
Right.
just do it straight up, and then if it's like maybe say an interview with a person that we genuinely want to have pushed further than say the people that watch it in the live presentation, then that's what it is.
Right.
That's
And we've got a video, and I've got a shirt on that says support your local farmer with a big pot leaf on it. And that's about all it's in the video.
yeah,
And it got age restricted for a shirt.
yeah,
A shirt. So
yeah.
but yeah, Wendy's telling me she's giving me the sign.
The media asset sign, is that the one?
Do you want
Okay, no, we can wrap it
no,
up. We're
if you
right
want
at
to do
9 o'clock here.
we could do
I'll
we
just
could do
We got time, yeah.
we could do a quick
if we
rip.
got time for one more little getting
No,
that
let's do a
smoking
quick
lamp
rip.
lit, let's
Because that
make it
way
happen.
I can push the button.
Oh yeah, the media asset button.
And there it is. And
Yeah, let's get it, Jeff.
I tell you, Andrew, I have no, I love the media asset thing now that I found the button.
Well, I am happy to be joining you here on your platform. It's been an absolute honor to sit and chat with you for a little while. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Wendy, and thank you to everybody out in the audience too. You guys are awesome.
That was it was great, and hopefully we can do it again. And
Absolutely.
hopefully you'll invite me over there. I'm about to take this rip. Sorry.
Let's do it. I'm with you. That was a good one. Fuck yeah, that was awesome.
Woo. Whew.
Cheers, Jeff. Cheers.
Come back up.
Yo, I'm ready when you are, baby.
There you are, baby.
Hey, there we are. What's good? What's good?
But yeah, she was giving me the signal. So I'd like to, if you don't mind, we'll just close up and
Yep,
stuff.
that works for me, man. I can hop off stage if you want to wrap up.
Oh no! You're gonna stay up here. You're gonna stay
Oh,
up
okay.
here.
Right on. I got you.
I got my things to say. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I want to thank you for being our first guest ever on Conversations. Now, it could change the conversations with growing old real estate conversations, because then I can say, like I said today, Conversations with Andrew Heckman. I like that. I prefer that. It's got a 60 minutes vibe.
Yep. Yep. I love it. It's perfect.
But with that being said, I want to give you the opportunity to say anything. You talk about your systems, what you got coming up. You can talk about like tomorrow. What time does your live start and stuff like that?
Sure.
The floor is yours.
Sure, buddy. Hey, I mean, yeah, we live stream each and every day. If you guys want to hit us up over on our channel tomorrow, we'll be Plants of Our Lives, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for throwing me up on the main stage there, Jeff. But yeah, we're always on YouTube. And then of course, yeah, we are just going to continue on this year as we did last year, making our rounds, making our content, and doing what we do best, which is just growing, having a good time growing in all the ways we can. We want everybody to go check out our website if you haven't already. If you don't mind giving us a follow there over on our YouTube, if you like the content, we certainly appreciate it. But man, I just really want to say thank you for actually just letting me come up on your platform here and have a great time. We've got a lot of great content over on our website. We've got our Brand Buddies page there. I'm seeing Allie throwing up in the chat. That's a lot of great Canadian and or North American affiliate companies that have seen value in our brand and our products, and they love it here too. So by all means, yeah, if you guys don't mind checking us out and coming on over for a good time, we do lots of shows of varying, genres. We sometimes do smoke on screen during our 420 somewhere sessions. Shout out to Scotty there. It's Scotty 420 somewhere. But we've also got the late night sessions that we do from time to time. I mean, it's sporadic, dude. We do a lot of pop-ups there on the YouTube. And of course, our page is not all about cannabis. We got Jax's cooking shows. We got Allie over at the Horse Barn. She loves doing episodes from over there from time to time. And of course, we've got me and Pete going on tours down to Marywell. And sometimes I'm just out on tour at hydroponic stores and the likes, just checking out the neighborhood. So there's always something going on over on our channel there. And most certainly, there's always something going on at Ogo Growth Systems Incorporated. And I got to give a shout out to the crew that got me here. Miss Ogo Alexandra there. We got Ogo Jax, Ogo Shannonball, and Ogo Gorilla Pete. Shout out to all of them. Thank you guys for believing in me and carrying on the way we have. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. We're always around. So if you want to come find us over on our channel, by all means, you'll be welcome to do so. And again, thanks, Jeff and Wendy, just on a personal note from my family and I for being so open to chatting with us all these times, for sure. So.
Oh no, that's the cool thing about this community is you make friends all over the world. Tomorrow I got a Zoom call with a friend because we're going to do some. We're going to work together, and he's in Germany. He's a German grower. So I mean, that's the beauty of this community is you got friends all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to close again by saying thank you, Andrew, for coming up. Everybody pop in tomorrow to the live. Pop in. If you haven't already subscribed now.
Yeah.
Links,
absolutely.
Links up at the top. Links scrolling across the bottom.
Perfect. Thank you.
Let's see. I want to say we were working on 2 weeks from now. We'll do another one of these. And fantastic. I think our next guest is going to be Miss Kay from Miss Kay's Garden.
Nice.
We're going to get her on here.
Fantastic.
And I'd like to say to out there in the chat, 702 Exotic, he's got a live coming up tonight. If you guys could drop over there. And finally, again, thank you very much, Andrew. I want to say thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.
And then everybody in the chat, thanks. And you guys always remember we're all growing old, so let's all grow better together.
I
And,
love
with
it,
that,
dude.
let's end the stream and say thank you very much, Andrew. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Thank you. Thank you, Aunt Wendy. Hell yeah, guys. Have a great night, all. Thanks, Jeff.
Razor lights across the night, amps howl, circuits burn. Phone glows, call to arms. The growers our returns. Basements, garages, the towers of homegrown pride. Roots like iron, leaves like flags. We rise and testify. Click the link, join the Legion. Camera set to show. From seed to crown, the miracle. Let everybody know. Growing old grows. Cannabis at home. Raise your rigs, raise your glass, bring the green.